Hello, my dear students of class 7. Today we are going to be doing a new lesson from your supplementary reader. The name of the lesson is The Cop and the Anthem. Is by an author called O. Henry, and it is about a homeless man called Soapy who notices once in a cold night on his park bench that he has to try to do everything possible in order to get into prison for 3 months so that he can go ahead and survive the winter. All right, so there is a small little prelude. Soapy is a hopeless and jobless man. Winter is fast approaching, and Soapy must have a place to stay. So Soapy comes to a decision at last. Let's read the lesson and find out what decision that he comes to. Alright, so Soapy moved restlessly on his seat. He was moving restlessly on his seat in Madison Square. Madison Square is a place in Manhattan, New York, in the USA. Alright, there are certain things to show, there are certain signs to show that winter is coming. What are the signs? Birds begin to fly south. People want new warm coats. And Soapy moves restlessly on his seat in the park. And when you see these signs, you know that winter is near. Just look at the way that the author has put it. Alright, he says, birds begin to fly south, a bit to warmer climate during winter time. People want new warm coats, and Soapy moves restlessly on his seat. Okay, so the author says that he also moves restlessly, and that is a sign that shows you that winter is coming. Alright, a dead leaf fell at Soapy's feet, and that was a special sign for him that winter was coming. All right, it was time for all who lived in Madison Square to prepare. So everybody who lived around Madison Square were preparing for winter time. Now Soapy's mind now realized that fact. The time had come. He had to find some way to take care of himself during the cold winter, and therefore he moved restlessly on his seat. He didn't know what to do. He was trying to figure out what he has to do now that winter was approaching. All right, so Soapy's hopes for the winter were not very high. So he did not have very high hopes for the winter. He was not thinking of sailing away on a ship, and he was not thinking of southern skies or the Bay of Naples. The Bay of Naples is a place in Italy. It's a gulf. A gulf, as you all know, is a large water inlet from the ocean that comes into the land. Okay, so when there's land jutting out into the sea, and when there's an inlet of water that comes into the land, that is called a gulf. All right, so this place, the Bay of Naples, is a gulf in a place called Italy. Southern skies means warmer places. All right, it's given at the bottom of the textbook as well. You can go ahead and check it out. Now, what Soapy wanted, was 3 months in the prison on Blackwell's Island. That's what he wanted. Okay, he wanted to go to prison for 3 months on a place called Blackwell's Island. Okay, so 3 months of food every day and a bed every night. 3 months of safe from the cold north wind, safe from the cops, and that was what Soapy wanted most in the world. Okay, so he wanted to stay in prison for 3 months in Blackwell Island because he would get food every day, and there would be a bed there every night, and 3 months he would stay safe from the cold north wind and also safe from cops, because if you generally sleep on a bench in a park, then the cops generally come and chase you and shoo you away. They don't let you stay there for very long. All right, and that was the case with Soapy, which is why he wanted to go to Blackwell's Island, so that the government, or the people who are running Blackwell Island, which is basically the government, would take care of him for 3 whole months only because it is so cold. Now, for years, Blackwell's Island had been his winter home. Okay, so he used to go there every winter. It used to be his winter home, a prison, Blackwell Island. Alright, so the rich New Yorkers made their plans to go to Florida or the shore of the Mediterranean Sea each winter. Soapy made his small plans for going to the island, Blackwell Island. Alright, so other rich New Yorkers, people in New York, made plans to go to Florida, alright, for their beaches because it was a warmer place, or to the shore of the Mediterranean Sea. Each winter they made plans, rich people in New York, but Soapy made only small plans. He made plans of going to the island, Blackwell's Island. Alright, now the time had come, three big newspapers, now the time had come. Alright, so the time had come for him to go to the island. Three big newspapers, some under his coat. Alright, he put some newspapers under his coat, and some over his legs, had not kept him warm during the night in the park. Alright, so this man used to sleep in the park at night, and to keep himself warm, he used to put some newspapers under his coat and over his legs. But even though he did that, he did not feel warm when he slept that night in the park. Alright, so Soapy was thinking of the island. There are places in the city where he could go and ask for food and a bed. These would be given to him. He could move from one building to another, and he would be taken care of through winter. But he liked Blackwell's Island better. Alright, so Soapy did have a few options. Alright, there were places inside the city where he could go and he could probably ask for food and a bed, and these would be given to him. People would say, okay, fine, you can come and sleep outside my house or something like that, or you can go and sleep on the terrace or something like that. And they would probably give him some food as well because he was homeless. Okay, so he could have moved over there from one building to another, obviously because the people would not take care of him forever or for a very long time. But if he would request them, they would probably give him some place to stay for a few days. So he could move from one building to another, and he would be taken care of through the winter. But he liked Blackwell's Island better because he did not have to ask anybody for food or place to stay. It was already there. Okay, so Soapy's spirit was proud. If he went to any of these places, there were certain things he had to do. In one way or another, he would have to pay for what they gave him. Okay, so Soapy's spirit was proud because the reason why his spirits were proud, his spirits were high, was because if he went to any of these places, there were certain things that he had to do. In one way or the other, he would have to pay for what they gave him. They would not ask him for money, but they would make him wash his whole body. They would make him answer questions, and they would want to know everything about his life. No prison was better than that. The prison had rules, and he would have to follow. But in prison, a gentleman's own life was still his own life, meaning that if a person goes to prison, it's your life. You do whatever you have to do when you're in prison. Obviously, you can't do many things like you would when you're not in prison, so you just have to do whatever you're supposed to do in prison. Now, Soapy, having decided to go to the island at once, began to move towards his desire or his want of wanting to go there. All right. So what he thought was, if Soapy went to all these places, all right, he could have been taken care of by asking people, can I have some food and can I stay here for the night? It's really cold. They would have been kind probably and let him in, but he wouldn't be able to stay there for very long. And even if he went there, he would have to, in one way or the other, pay them for what they give. They would probably say, you can't come inside my house without washing your whole body, so make sure you go ahead and take a bath. And they would ask him personal questions about his life and make him answer. And in prison, that was not the case. Prison had rules, and he would have to follow. And in prison, his life was his own life. Now, that is why Soapy decided to go to the island at once, and he began to move closer to his desire. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the first part. We will continue the lesson in the second part of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye.